Welcome to another episode of Follow the Brand. I am your host, Grant McGaw, CEO of 5-Star BDM, a 5-star personal branding and business development company. I want to take you on a journey that takes another deep dive into the world of personal branding and business development using compelling personal stories, business conversations, and tips to improve your personal brand. By listening to the Follow the Brand podcast series, you will be able to differentiate yourself from the competition and allow you to build trust with prospective clients and employers. You never get a second chance to make a first impression. Make it one that will set you apart, build trust, and reflect who you are. Developing your 5-star personal brand is a great way to demonstrate your skills and knowledge. If you have any questions for me or my guests, please email me at grant.mcgaugh, spelled M-C-G-A-U-G-H, at 5-star BDM, B for brand, D for development, M for masters.com. Now let's begin with our next 5-star episode on Follow the Brand. Welcome to another episode of the Follow the Brand podcast, where we are building a 5-star brand that you can follow. We will dive deep into the stories of visionary individuals who have created vibrant personal or professional brands with purpose as we continue our Brand Masters series. I am your host, Grant McGaugh, and today I am happy to have an incredible guest with us, Lisa Guillot. Are you feeling stuck in your career or business, longing for radical change but unsure of where to begin? Well, you are not alone. Many successful individuals often feel that call in their hearts, urging them towards a new path. But fear not. Lisa Guillot, in her groundbreaking book, Find Your Clear Vision, a new mindset to create a vibrant personal or professional brand with purpose, presents an empowering framework to transform your mindset and build your brand from the inside out. Lisa skillfully intertwines personal development, energetic and spiritual practices, creativity, and brand strategy, unlocking the true potential within you. Imagine turning those cloudy thoughts into crystal clear clarity, ready to embrace the world with unwavering confidence. With the Clear Vision Framework, Lisa Guillot will guide you on a transformative journey, equipping you with the tools to get unstuck and unleash your full potential. Whether you are a senior executive in a Fortune 500 company, a marketing or tech leader, or an ambitious entrepreneur, Lisa's expertise has helped countless individuals just like you. What's more, you don't need to have your entire future vision figured out. All you need is a desire to discover your clear vision and the commitment to make it a reality. By the end of this podcast, you'll be ready to take that crucial first step in creating your own legacy. Lisa Guillot is not only a best-selling author, but a certified transformational life and leadership coach and a branding expert. Her passion lies in helping her clients find their clear vision and bring it to life through her extraordinary Clear Vision Framework. As the founder of Clear Vision U, a powerful mindset and personal brand training program, and Be Bright Lisa Coaching, Lisa has left an indelible impact on the lives of countless individuals. But she doesn't stop there. Lisa is also the host of the inspiring Find Your Clear Vision podcast, where she shares invaluable insights on personal branding and mindset. So get ready to be inspired, motivated, and equipped to make a remarkable change in your life. Join us in this enriching conversation as we uncover the secrets behind building a vibrant brand with purpose. Please give a warm welcome to our exceptional guest, Lisa Guillot, on the Follow the Brand podcast, where we are building a 5-star brand that you can follow. Welcome, everybody, to the Follow the Brand podcast. This is your host, Grant McGaugh. You know, this is our Brand Masters series, and it's been so successful from the beginning of the year. We've had so many different people come onto the show and share their stories, and it has helped my audience to grow, to understand why a personal brand is a necessity. It's no longer just, yeah, that's something I know. You need it today because we are in a digital world. We're in a virtual world. We're in this technological society. So how you show up in digital is very, very important to get your message truly across, and how people will look at you, for that very first time. You know how people are. People look at you and they're going to judge you. If you come up into an office or you're going to interview for a new job, you're going to show up usually in your best self. You need to take a look at how you're showing up in the digital world, and are you truly showing up as your best self, and are you telling an authentic story about who you are? So we're going to have Lisa. Lisa is going to tell us about her story, why she's involved in personal branding. And I am so stoked because she just came out with this new book. Book is out there. She's all smiles, as a lot of people are going to see when they see it on the show. And you're going to see a better understanding about how Lisa Guillot, right? Make sure I say that right. Guillot, right? I love the way that sounds in my ears. I don't know why that is, but I like the way that sounds. She's coming to us out of Chicago. I'm in Miami. We're going to get this going. So, Lisa, please introduce yourself.
Well, Grant, thank you. I'm so honored to be here and have this conversation with you and your listeners today. As Grant shared, my name is Lisa Guillot, and I am a transformational mindset coach via branding design. So I actually came through the branding world, working with marketing agencies, design studios, with companies like Crate and Barrel and Pottery Barn Kids. Who else? Paper Source. All of these companies before then. I went out on my own and started my own brand strategy studio. But like many transformational leadership coaches, mindset coaches, life coaches, we kind of come through our own personal breakdown before our big breakthrough. And that was my journey. If you want me to share that story in a little snackable moment.
No, go right ahead.
All right. So let's see. I started my brand strategy studio in 2009 and loved it. Loved creating, loved the visuals, the thinking, the concepts, how to take a business and make it become its best self. And I think that that's actually a key differentiation we can talk about, where in business branding, we make that brand come to life. It showcases its best characteristics through visuals and messaging and taglines and color. And very similarly, that's what we do in personal brand design and how we show up as human beings. But the key difference being in a business brand, it's often a one-way conversation. And you don't build a business based on its faults and imperfections. But as human beings, those are just part of who we are, and how we show up in the world is nobody's perfect. We all have our faults and we all have our bad days. And we have to interact with other human beings and be in relationships and create and be on teams. And so that's like a huge differentiation between these two forms of design and development. So needless to say, I, as a graphic designer, was what I call paid to be perfect. We create the perfect design, the award-winning logo that tells all of the business acumens and accomplishments in one small symbol. We create the perfect buy now button, move the perfect pixel around on a page. So I brought all of that perfection that I was paid to be in my graphic design world into my own personal life. Oh, let me be the perfect stepmom, the perfect mom, the perfect wife. Like my fitness should be perfect, my clothes, right? So it just tumbled into this moment that I was like, realized I don't no longer really care if my client picks the perfect color purple. And I was like, okay, now I recognize I'm no longer aligned with this type of work. similarly, in my own personal life, I had to wait until my body actually was like, Lisa, we are not aligned with this level of stress and this level of perfection in who you're trying to be out there in the world on Instagram or LinkedIn or wherever it was. So what happened was 2013, I was having a scheduled C-section with my daughter, second child. And so for a perfectionist, a scheduled C-section is ideal because we know what time that baby's coming. We know exactly what's happening. But what I didn't plan for was that I broke out on my face, huge, swelled up like a football. I took a team of doctors, 2 master life coaches, and eventually a Buddhist monk, the story's in the book, to recognize that my body had broken out in shingles.
Oh.
Yes. And it manifested on my face and inside of my left eye. not a pretty sight.
No.
Especially for a 30-something-year-old woman. And you would have thought that would have been my lesson learned, to listen to my body, to tone down, to take a step back. But as what I now call a recovering perfectionist, I was like, that's cool. I can manage this. And that was not the case. I had to learn my lesson multiple times that who I was being for myself first, and then how that reflected out in my business and with my family, and how I was trying to, control my environment, for example, control the design, control the branding in the world around me. It wasn't sustainable. And my body was the first clue. And that was the breakthrough that I needed to eventually become a transformational mindset coach. And that's when I stepped into that role, because I had to do my own work before I could then share this type of work with others.
Well, that kind of story and that kind of what I call, you became an authority on why you need this transformational coach. Like, what does that mean? So you're going through a change. That's a huge undertaking, because you're comfortable, obviously. You got good at what we call traditional branding, or the brand visuals, the brand identity. You do it outside of yourself. And then you start to get to that point. And I think that happens to a lot of people. You kind of know, it's like, I think I've run my course in this particular line of work or this particular line of endeavor, because the passion starts to wane and it starts to become work.
Exactly.
It's just work, at this point. But wow, and this happens a lot in our society, that we drive ourselves, into a mental state that's affecting our physical world. I mean, our body, adversely. And it's because we're not paying attention, not listening to that small voice, within us that says, hey, there's a better way. If you're doing this just to have resources and to maintain your livelihood, there's other options out there. And I'm not going to say you need to start taking a look. Your body starts saying you will take a look, right?
Mm-hmm. Your body's like,
yeah, you're going to shut it down. So talk to us more about this story, that you've taken us to a point of change, and you picked up, and this had to be something, because you're making a living, you're doing something, now you got to get out there on faith, right? Talk to us about that.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, and I think you made a good point a moment ago. You said you've got to listen to that like small inner voice, that soft voice of intuition, your inner being, what I call your most vibrant self, your soul, whatever it is, the faith in yourself. And I think out there in the world that is filled with clutter and messages and advertising, and we are trained to think other people will tell us what to do. And we need to seek permission before we, whatever it may be. Gifting yourself time to tone down and listen to your own inner wisdom and trust it. And like you said, like be in faith that I've got this and I'm the one who gets to make these choices. I'm the one who needs to reinvent my career path, even at the age of 40. Like that was when I actually made the biggest transformation in that I was like, okay, I am pulling in the reins on my branding studio and I'm transforming into becoming a mindset coach and a personal brand strategist and taking this work forward out into the world. It wasn't an overnight moment by any stretch. You know, I had to learn and train and coach and practice and also embody that type of work, which it's a lot. Oftentimes when we're doing work for other people, whether you're in a career or in a corporate setting, it's your 9 to 5. My client this morning said, it's my 8 till 7:30,
Yeah.
But you're turning in work. You are submitting work for review. But when you're your own boss, you're your own entrepreneurial business owner, the founder, we have got to learn how to, in practice, maintaining our own energy, our own faith, those inner resources, what I call your inner platform, before we can take it out and share it with the world, the outer platform.
Mm-hmm. Very much so. And that is, because it's responsibility. You're responsible to yourself. You're taking on the whole boat. And it's a bigger undertaking because you're depending on you to support yourself and your family, your endeavor. But that means that there's something bigger than yourself that's taking place. You're starting to look out into that world because here's the story. Why did you choose personal brand? You could have did anything else, but you chose specifically personal branding, being a transformation coach. Did you see wow, what I just went through right now, there's probably other people out there and I can offer them a solution to that kind of challenge. Was that the type of thinking or was it different?
Yeah. Let's see. I think this is the most cliche way to describe it, but it works. Okay. Yes, it's the caterpillar to the butterfly story, but what most people miss is when you're a caterpillar and you go into the chrysalis, the cocoon stage, it is dark and mushy and you're alone and you're uncomfortable and you really have no idea what's going to come out on the other side. My guess is that the caterpillar does not imagine, I'm going to be a beautiful butterfly in 2 weeks. But what they certainly don't want is being a caterpillar going through all of this uncomfortable change, vulnerability, and transformation, and then come out another caterpillar on the other side. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So
what was that all about?
Right. What the heck?
What a gem, right? No.
They don't want to be another caterpillar on the other side. So true transformation happens when you can let go of what once was, even if it really worked for you. I still am a really good graphic designer. I am a good brand strategist. I could very well still be doing that, but that was not part of my transformational journey. So the idea is moving from what was into a pure, true transformation. And that means shedding a lot of limiting beliefs and really developing inner trust and self-awareness. And then from that point, you're not quite the beautiful butterfly yet. Now at this point here, when we are becoming that butterfly, then from that new space is where us as individuals get to fully express ourselves and become authorities, like you said, and share from the depth of knowledge and expertise we have. But as this new transformation has occurred and you're this new butterfly, you're this new form you never once was, we sometimes need guidance. Well, how do I show up in this space? What do I talk about? How do I share my message from a place of authenticity vulnerability, energy, and expertise. And that is personal branding.
This episode is brought to you by 5-Star BDM. 5-Star BDM is a professional consulting and advisory group keenly focused on business development services for small to mid-sized businesses and entrepreneurs. Although every business is unique, they often share challenges that can be addressed through smart branding. Services include process improvement in operations, digital strategy and transformation, business intelligence, digital marketing, and personal branding. Our 5-Star business and personal branding company has helped a number of professionals and organizations to optimize and grow. The result is more business, more opportunities, better reach, positive outcomes. Please visit www.5starbdm.com to learn more and view all the episodes of Follow the Brand.
Right there.
You know, as our audience engages in this conversation, you really take a look at these things and you read certain books or you see certain people, the certain speakers on stage. They typically will start out very similar to what you just said, is that the story, the beginning, what I was, and what had to happen to get me to what you're seeing today. And it's a remarkable journey. You know, you get the oohs and ahs of the audience, like, oh, wow, what happened now? How did you get through that? Oh, my God. They said, now I'm going to take you through it. Like, oh, no.
I'm not ready.
I'm not ready for that, you know, but sometimes you got to get pushed into the pool. But in order to achieve that goal, I mean, that's where human awareness comes into. Like, we can visualize somewhat of a better future or what we would hope it would look like. Obviously, most of the time as you go along that journey, it doesn't end up looking exactly like you thought. It was more of a nice sketch of what it could be like, but you made the choice to take a change. I think what you're doing is so impactful because I believe especially where we're at now. We just went through 2 years of COVID, getting locked down. We had a lot of time to really think about some things, not just you and me, but the entire planet. The entire world went through kind of an incubation stage, right? And now we're coming out on the other side of that. And what you also said is so important, like, I don't feel the same way I was 2 some odd years ago. I feel different, but I don't know how to work with that. There's this inner voice, this thing that's out there now. It's in front of me. Like, look, remember what you were talking about? Remember what we said we were going to do? Now here you are, you're doing the same old thing again. But really, it's like putting on a size 8 pair of shoes. And you know what? You're a size 9 now. Now, not to get people like, oh my God, Grant, what are you talking about fashion-wise? But you understand what I'm saying. You've changed. And now you need a coach like yourself to help you more. So take us through what you typically do when you have that first consultation with a client. What is that conversation like?
Well, the very first consultation, the discovery session, is really taking a look at discovering what it is you want to create in the future. Right? Who do you want to be? What do you want to embody? What types of conversations do you want to be in? So we really start to brainstorm using the creative process, just like I would for a design, and envision and really paint that picture of you being the creative director of your future in your life and your career, your leadership, your business, whatever it is. And then we take a look at, okay, so what's missing between that point in the future and where you are today? And then we look at what's the gap, right? What's the cocoon you need to go through in order to get to the other side? And the biggest question I think that most people have their biggest moment of awareness is when I ask, what's the one breakthrough that you need to be or become or stop being in order to build that future? And that question starts to reflect not on external circumstances, right? Well, I just need a promotion, or I just need this person to tell me that, right? Where we instead look within, and oftentimes the thing that comes up for a lot of people is, well, I need to trust myself. I need to make myself a priority. I need to believe in myself 100%. I need to believe I am worthy of investing in me. And when they recognize, oh, wait, this change, this transformation is actually mine to take, then we have a path through to the other side. And then that's when the real work happens. So that's just like your first moment of awareness. Like that can happen in all of 20 minutes. But it's one thing to dream about that future vision, but it's a whole nother thing to actually build the roadmap to get there and make it happen.
Is that your framework? You have like, here is the Lisa, Guillot framework of transformation and personal branding to get to that other side. Talk to us about what that framework is like.
Yes. So my book is called Find Your Clear Vision. So CLEAR is actually an acronym for that exact framework.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So the C is the clear concept. So like in graphic design or branding, you need to have a clear intention, a clear idea or goal. And that is like 3/4 the work, because oftentimes we think we should do this or I should do that. My family thinks I should, right? We got to get rid of all those limiting beliefs. And we develop the clear concept. Then we move to L. Is your clear concept, your idea, your intention legit and long lasting? So the first concert I went to was MC Hammer, Too Legit to Quit, right? So like that's we got to ask ourselves, can you embody this clear concept and not get bored? Can you stay committed? Is it too legit to quit? Because when the going gets tough, most people quit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then we move to E. Now that we've planted and created the foundation and we know we're going to stick to it and we're committed, the E is for expanded energy. So back to that butterfly. That butterfly needs a whole different kind of energy than they once did as a caterpillar. So I believe personal branding is an exchange of energy. It's me sharing my charisma and confidence, even if it's quiet or reserved. Everyone has their own flavor of energy and confidence and leadership. But we need to gift ourselves time and practice rituals, habits in order to refill and replenish and reload our own internal source of energy. So I spend massive amounts of time on energetic work. A is aspirational results. Mm-hmm. All right. So we're doing all this work because we want to create a better life for our family. We want to speak on stages, start a podcast, write a book, build a business, whatever our aspirational results are, map them out into massive milestones and then many tiny little steps. Because a lot of people get caught up at that moment too. They have a big goal of, let's say, starting a podcast, for example. Okay, so what's the first step? What's the very first step? Well, I need to find somebody who's done this before, right? Yeah. I need a podcast producer. I need to sign up for Libsyn or Zencastr, right? There's a tiny first moment. And oftentimes that's asking for support or help and getting those people enrolled in your vision. And then R is rooted in celebration. Because if we're not having fun and we're not celebrating our wins, then it's like, why are we doing all this work of becoming the butterfly in the first place? And I know that when I was in my graphic design business, trying to make everything perfect, there was no time to celebrate. Right? That there was no time for that because I had more work to do and more things that needed to be polished and perfected. Versus now, I make a huge point of having my clients plan for celebration and plan for fun, even if it's like a salt bath. That was literally a conversation I had today. Was this woman needs to get rid of some energy she was holding on to. She's going to a salt bath. Perfect. It could be buying yourself flowers. It doesn't have to be a big moment, but I'm a big NFL fan. And if you remember, like years ago, they took away the touchdown dance.
Yeah.
It was like the most fun thing. Yeah. It's like you got your 6 points. You have to celebrate that.
Yeah, it's a huge thing. 100,000 people and more, watching you. You finally achieved the goal, and you're just supposed to just hand the ball to the ref and no big deal. Like, well, that's kind of lame.
Right. Bring back the touchdown dance. Celebrate it. You completed your goal, and then get back to work. So that's my framework, the clear vision framework.
No, that is wonderful. I like how, because there's clarity. There's a lot of clarity in that. Show some roadmap, where we're going. We've got a few minutes left, and I want that next step. You understand this next step. Because a lot of people, go to a website now, go to information. They want to hear some testimonials. They want to know a reference point. Talk to us about, to say someone's specific name, but just a success story, how you took somebody through this entire framework and how they became a much better individual and where they're at now.
Let's see. Is your audience more like entrepreneurs or executives?
They're probably both. They're both. But I think either way will play out.
Okay. So I'll do an entrepreneurial moment. So it's a quick story, but I'm going back a couple of years. In 2016, I hosted a branding with purpose on purpose workshop. And I had a woman come to it and she's like, I can't pay for this workshop, but I'm going to gift you decorations and I want to decorate this space. And I was like, okay, cool. What do you have in mind? And she said, balloons. I want to design it with this big burst of balloons in the background. I'm like, okay, but cool, right? And so she came and we had an initial discovery session. And at the time, she said, I can't afford your services, but I love what you shared with me about how balloons can bring joy. And she had this vision to create a company that you could customize any color of balloons. And you could use balloons for social change and social messaging. And she wanted to reinvent the balloon industry. And I'm like, okay, cool, right? And I believed her. And she said, I want my tagline to be bring the joy. I was like, all right, awesome, cool, go for it. And I'm here for you. And didn't hear from her. During that time frame, she became her own butterfly. She started a business, opened up 2 locations, delivers balloons throughout Chicagoland, and use balloons for social change. So whenever it is time to get out and vote, she prints purple balloons with the word vote on it. Summer 2020, there was a lot of protests, certainly here in Chicago around Black Lives Matter. She prints a balloon, Black Lives Matter. She prints a balloon with a smiley face and drops it off at the corner where in Chicago, a lot of homeless or people who definitely need support and help stand, on a freeway, on-ramp or off-ramp. She brought the joy. She brought the message. She was doing the work. And I know I can share this because she has shared this on her social media. So it's public knowledge because I would never share someone's story who, didn't acknowledge I could. Confidentiality plays a big role. But she shared that she then in 2023, January, she hired me as her coach because she was ready. And she was ready to step into her leadership role as a business owner with multiple employees, with 2 locations, and what was going to be next for her company as a creative endeavor and how to express joy through balloons. So we've been working together now around what it means to be a creative, soulful leader and to really use her clear vision for who she is as a leader, for the business, and for her creativity, and move it through, what's next for her, whatever that may be. And what's so funny about this story is when we had that discovery call years later. So what is that? 2016 through 2023, 7 years later, we had our discovery session and she's like, Lisa, I'm ready to hire you now. And I shared with her the story about, well, you're a caterpillar and then you go into the chrysalis and it's dark and vulnerable and you don't know what you're going to be, but you come out on the other side as a butterfly. And she said, Lisa, make me a butterfly. And I was like, okay, we will. And she's like, I'm making a t-shirt. And I'm like, okay, sure. And without fail, I kid you not, she showed up to her first session with a t-shirt on that said, make me a butterfly.
Nice. That's beautiful.
So that's how sometimes transformation doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to be ready and try again and come at it from a different angle and know that it's always a journey. And investing in yourself in a big way is a leap of faith, but you are so worthy of it. And I 100% believe that everyone's message has a place in this world. Otherwise, why would we be here?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so stepping into that and sharing it like you're doing here on your platform is so meaningful and impactful.
Well, thank you. That's why we do it. That's why the Follow the Brand exists. I have my own epiphany about it. I'll tell this real quick story. I remember being out in Vegas, and I was in Vegas, and we were out there for a convention, and I was riding around in a taxi cab with some other attendees. And I was saying, you know what? It just came to me. You know what? Everybody has a story. Everybody in this world has an interesting story. And I said, I bet this taxi guy here is right. He's listening. I said, I bet he has a very interesting story, like how he ended up, riding the cab. Man, and I said, well, tell us your story. He tells this incredible story about how he came to Vegas, how he got into show business, right? He wanted to go out and do acts. And I can't remember the exact acts he wanted to do, but he wanted to come out and he wanted to present himself, in a way that he would be part of the Las Vegas show scene. And he was struggling. He had to make money, so he had to pick up a cab. And while he's telling the story, he said, well, I don't understand. He said, you know what happened today? He said, what? I got my big break. This is my last cab ride. You're going to be my last fare. You see that hotel over there? I said, yeah, I'm going to be opening for the Blue Man Group. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. He said, yeah, I'm going to be that guy opening up for them. I'm starting to live my dream. So I'm telling you, just because you see someone in a certain stage, you don't really know where they're at or what they're doing or what they're becoming. We are becoming who we are to be in this world. And that doesn't mean that everybody's story turns into what we call, quote unquote, the success story. Sometimes your story is the story that someone else needs to hear because it helps them to understand where they're at and begin to really pivot and make certain changes. Like, yeah, you know what? In the beginning, I was this way. And if you're there right now, this is an opportunity for you to really evaluate and make changes. So that's why we do the Follow the Brand podcast. And I have a heavy focus on executives and people like, oh, I just jumped out of bed and became an executive. Oh, no, you didn't. I'm sure that was a heck of a journey along that way. And there's so many stories. I really enjoy doing that because I learned so much. And I tell you right now, Lisa, I've learned a lot from you because that is an incredible story. Not just what you told maybe 3 or 4 stories. All those things end up being like your why. So somebody listen to this podcast like, wow, why should I invest some time and some energy in endeavoring into the clear framework? You just said that. And if that story resonates with you, you should definitely pick up the phone and give her a call or send her an email and that type of thing. So what is the best way to get in touch with you?
Yes. Well, you can pick up the book. It's on Amazon, $17.99 for the paperback. You can do this framework on your own, but if you're ready for that true transformation and building your personal or professional brand, you can find me online at bebrightlisa.com.
Oh, that is beautiful. Be Bright Lisa. I love it. Colors fit you. And I'm sure you're there. You're that bright light for a lot of people. They're, maybe, like I said earlier, a lot of people are in that cocoon state and they don't know what they're really going to look. They don't even know they're in a cocoon, right? Maybe caterpillars don't even know that they're about to become right? And I'm sure that process, if you really look at that process, you go through a lot of squeezing and squishing and movement, and you're like, what the heck is truly going on? And all of a sudden you can fly.
Right. You're like, what the heck? Who knew? I would have done this so much sooner.
Right. So you're, working with Lisa, working with their clear framework, you're going to learn how to fly. We want everybody listening to this podcast. Hey, we're going to take you out. You're going to be able to fly in whatever endeavor that you're on. So I really appreciate you being on the show. And I thank you so much for being part of the Follow the Brand.
Grant, thank you for creating this opportunity for so many people to come and share and be that lighthouse for all of us.
Well, thank you very much. Welcome. And your entire audience can reach out to me at 5-Star BDM. That is B for brand, D for development, and for masters.com. Thank you so much.